Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the VR Master League, brought to you by Intel Live from our ESL Cologne studios. I'm Jason Kaplan, joined by the lovely, the handsome, the fantastic me and Blue. And Blue, as we're going to bring you all of today's games. But we're not going to be bringing you any of the VR League. It's actually going to be the VR Master League, where we'll be covering another show of Onward. But before we get to that, Blue, how you feeling today?
Feeling great, ready for some more Onward action.
Okay, quick, straight to the point. I like that. I favor that very much. All right, so to start things off, if you guys are just joining us in what the VR League actually is and the VR Master League is, it's a culmination of different games, for instance, Sprint Vector, Echo Arena, all played throughout a season, all ending up at the Oculus Connect 5 in September. I think it's like the 26th, 27th.
It's like the very end of September. I think it's like the very last
we'll get to see like the best of the best playing head-to-head in multiple different games. But the VR Master League going to be a little bit different. It's more of a community league that's being ran, very well by the guys over there. And they have a couple of different games. They've got, for instance, Beat Saber, they have Pavlov, they have Onward as well. And Blue, you can go ahead and take away and show people like how they can kind of get involved if they want to participate in any one of those three games, as they keep adding on more every single month, it seems.
Yeah, I've got the website here, so if we want to bring that up whenever, I can go ahead and show you guys how exactly you can get involved and kind of sign up for the VR Master League. This is the homepage that you'll go to when you go to the website, which is vrmasterleague.com, if memory serves me correctly. And once you're here, you're obviously, for this game, going to want to click on the Onward portion, but as Jason was explaining earlier, there's plenty of other games you could jump into as well. When you do head to the Onward, you're going to be greeted by this wonderful website that will have all the information on recent matches, upcoming matches, social media links, along with recent news. But what you're going to want to do is head over here to registrations and hit creative team. Now, obviously, you're going to have to make an account to be able to do that. But once you've done so, you'll be able to create a team or go over here and look for teams that are currently recruiting as well and try to find your chance to get into the action and jump into the season before it expires. And of course, like we said before, there's going to be plenty more seasons to come. They're already in their 5th season, and I know they're planning to do much more than that. So be sure to head over to the website and sign up.
Yeah, and even though that the season does technically end today with what's coming up in the near future, which we'll get to in a few seconds, you guys can obviously go and sign up there. There's also a Discord you guys can join if you're interested in talking to some of the people who play the game, want to ask them some questions like, how do you do this? What's your general strategies for these certain maps? And as well as, teams who are recruiting and teams who are looking for scrims. So make sure to head over to there if you do want to get involved within the community. But like I said, today is like the last day of games being played in the league. For a certain reason, Blue, we're going into basically the qualifiers now for the Oculus Connect 5 with one team already qualified through with Global Chem, winning the UK Invitational. It happened back in June. But there's still 3 slots left to go.
Yeah, we're still going to have another Invitational as well that's going to decide another one of our invitees, and that'll be happening at the beginning of next month. And in addition to that, we have, starting on August 11th, we have the open qualifiers as well for teams that didn't manage to make it into the league or were a little bit too far out of the ratings. And then we'll work down from there, going through to the round-robin stages, which starts to incorporate more and more of the teams from the actual league play, ending up going all the way down to the actual bracket play, where we'll get to the semifinals. And
sorry to cut you off. We can actually show you guys really quickly as well, like kind of the whole process that goes on. It's a little bit confusing at first, but all in all, the 4 best teams will be going through to Oculus Connect 5.
Yeah, as you said before, it starts with the open qualifiers here, ends up going down into a round-robin stage where VRML rated teams 8 through 13 or 9 through 13, depending on the region, will end up going through into this one, then into the semis, and into the finals where ranks 2 and 3 will be joining them in the grand finals as ranked 2 and 3 teams will obviously get a reward for their high placing, and that they only need to play this one match, but they will need to defeat the team that meets them here in a best of 3 in order to qualify for the main event right there at Oculus Connect 5.
And the most important part, if you look on the right-hand side, the International Leicester event, the Invitational, sorry, is technically international. What's important about that is it's ranked 4 through 7. And I want to point that out in particular because it's going to be teams that are not the top 3 with the 2nd and 3rd seeds having a chance to just win one series. But it also gives us the chance to see some other teams we haven't had get through into the qualifiers before, the Invitationals before in the last event in June. And in particular, there's one team I'm looking at, like Pac-1, which we did have happen yesterday, who might have just slid into the top 7 position to actually get themselves a chance to play there and potentially some prize money as well. So that's actually going to be really cool to see, and we'll be there casting that, I believe it's on the 1st and 2nd of September. And it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, very much so. It's going to be very cool to see, especially since, as you said, a team like Pac-1 kind of snuck in there and stole 6th place away from another one of the teams recently with the match that we saw on Friday. Yeah. So we're more than likely going to be seeing them there.
We called it a match, but it was like more of a slaughter from what we saw in that. We even had the team there playing Vikings forfeit the first map after they were down 3-0. And that's never a sign you want to see. But again, like we got to talk to Radarhead, who graciously helped us out at a little post-game interview to kind of break down what happened. And he was even saying, this is a team who is relatively unheard of, but they're coming into this playing phenomenal. Their teamwork was great. Their fragging potential was fantastic as well, and they knew how to play pretty much every map that we went into.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, just from a strategy basis alone, the team was doing an absolutely amazing job. Right from the first map, we had the play from, I think it was Sleepy, that ended up making like a really aggressive play to push like right to the middle of the map. And immediately there, I was woken up and said to myself that, okay, this team's very much real. Like, this team is bringing the heat because they had a great strategy, and that continued not only throughout that map, but the following two as well, where they really dominated the situation and were able to take a clean 3-0 victory.
Well, that was unfortunately our only match we did have on Friday, since the other match that we were going to be covering was canceled. But that does bring us into today, and we do have two matches for you this time. It's going to be, honestly, some cracker ones. I think we're going to see potentially a very one-sided first match with Boss Fight up against Big Red 1, just due to the standings between the two teams, with Boss Fight being number 2 and Big Red 1 being number 10. Kind of makes you want to think that this is going to be potentially a one-sided game. But to follow up with Blue, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Cannon Fodder versus Silent Purge will promise itself pretty much to be a much more competitive matchup. Even if we just look at the standings between it, I'm pretty sure these guys are pretty much right next to each other. Their ratings are only 20 points apart, 1,200 for Cannon Fodder and 1,220 for Silent Purge. And even have a pretty similar number of matches played as well here. Silent Purge currently sits on a 4-win, 3-loss record. Cannon Fodder a little bit further behind, but still close at 2 wins and 3 losses.
Yeah, and they've actually played before, funny enough. That last match kind of fought over Silent Purge back on July 15th, where Silent Purge won 13-4. So maybe we've seen Cannon Fodder level up a little bit since then, maybe improve their gameplay, maybe recruit a couple of new players, maybe that can help them take themselves to the next level. But that will be the second match, and that will be starting around 9 p.m. CEST, assuming everything's kind of sticks to a schedule. But this first one, we do have our first map as well. It's going to be Quarantine. A little bit of a long-range map. It has potential for it, potential for a lot of flanking routes as well by the attacking team, which we did see a lot out of Pact 1 yesterday. Friday, really engaging in those long routes to make sure to secure these rounds. I wonder if we're going to see something similar, or maybe they're going to be playing a little bit more of like a no-respect style, with Boss Fight already being ranked number 2. I don't think they can really fall out of top. Well, I say top 2 right now because second and third place, because Globecham's already qualified. I think they're pretty much guaranteed to be there, but this is still going to be a major victory for them to 100% solidify their spot.
I don't know if Lemon Squad ends up having a match tonight, but in the event that they do, and by some matter of upset, we end up seeing Boss Fight come out at the losing end of this match.
Third, sorry. Overall, worldwide, they're third.
Yeah.
Right.
Then I'd say there's a chance for them to get overtaken by Lemon Squad, because right now there's only a 10-point MMR difference between those two teams. That's very likely. Even looking at the Silent Purge and Cannon Fighter match, that one could potentially flip the positions.
Can we actually show that to people at home, if you can just full screen that really quickly, just to see the global rankings, if you can go to blue screen? Because obviously it does kind of determine of what's going to be happening. The global chem, like we said before, already qualified through. We got beginners and Boss Fight, fighting for that second, third place position to maintain it, most importantly. And then, of course, Lemon Squad, Phoenix, SMC Tactical, and Danglers with the 4th through 7th position. Silent Purge in 11th, they're down by only 10 MMR at the moment from Danglers. So there is a good potential if they pick up a victory here today against Cannon Fodder, they could be jumping into the top 7 position and get themselves through to the UK.
Even just between just between number 11 and number 1, just look at how you've gone down to number 13 with Blaze. There's only a 100 point difference in MMR between all of these teams, which means that a lot of this could get shaken up throughout the next couple of hours as we look to kind of lock in things at the end of the season. I know that there's still a couple more challenge matches that are sitting on the match page as well that are potentially waiting to get played out. So that this leaderboard could look very different tomorrow when it's finally locked down and we're into the final status that will determine who's going where to qualify.
Very true, and I believe we're actually almost ready with our first match as well. Again, this is going to be an interesting one for Boss Fight, because they've had, if you just look at their match record that they've had within this season alone, they've played the top of the top teams. It's not like they've been playing the 16th team, the 18th team, the 11th team. No, they've been playing top 5 almost every single match, it seems like. And that's going to be a really good sign for them, that they can maintain that position in the rankings while playing these top teams. And you really have to wonder, can Big Red 1, the team who got absolutely smashed by Pac 1 just this last week, if they have a chance to pull off an upset.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for them, though. Even just looking at their match ratings as well here, Big Red 1, as you were mentioning, they even recently dropped to Pac 1, and that wasn't a close match either. That was a 4-12, if I remember correctly, as well. So that one.
The sad part is for them is that I don't think win this match is really going to change anything for them, for Big Red 1, because there's no way they're going to break in a top 7. They're already going to be able to be allowed to play in the open qualifiers, with them sitting so far out at around 28. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for him, but they can potentially play spoiler up against the team they're up against, and it's going to be actually Cargo as our first map. Thought it was going to be Quarantine, but it's going to be Cargo, it seems. And already off the bat, you can see Big Red 1 here trying to defend that uplink towards that south side.
We are into it, though. As Big Red 1 do move up. They're playing incredibly passive, though, just looking at their positions, which already shows you the amount of respect that Bossfight has commanded. Also, considering the fact that this is another very small map, so players do have to be very careful due to the low TTK in the game. We've already got a potential duel lurking itself forward here. 2 players. Weather Balloon, along with his opponent from Big Red 1 sitting on the other side, could potentially fight each other with a wrong peak from either one of them.
I really enjoy these. The thing is, I actually enjoy the difference in map variety we do have with the VRML and with Onward in particular. These close quarter combat maps, really rewarding teams that can work in quick succession and quick pace. And then also, you pretty much work without communication at some point, since you can't really talk to your teammates or give away your own position, especially if there's someone near you. But then those long-range maps where you do have to kind of set a strategy and you kind of have to follow it the best you can, and you have those really intense moments where you potentially could be picked off, and you again have to convey some information to your teammates and be very smart of how you use these smokes and these grenades. Off the bat, that looks like Bossfight have gotten the first frag. Big Red 1 have lost out on a player. You see Weather Balloon and Hoochie just sticking together at the moment.
Weather Balloon was the one to pick up that opening kill, by the way. Talked about it before, how he was sitting in this position just waiting for someone to peek back out from Big Red One. They finally got that. And even better, Hoochie, down in this long tunnel, is able to pick up an additional kill, bringing them down to only 3 here. Still, less than 2 minutes on the timer used up as well, so plenty of time for Bossfight to continue taking it slow. You're going to go on comms for a second here, just try and figure out how they want to approach the actual push. As long as they've got the shield in this position, they have control over this long haul.
Yeah, I was just trying to listen into what they were calling for. We actually have, I mean, Scooby-Doo's back, Scorpio's back. We actually have 2 players that we didn't get to catch last time we casted Bossfight. I think that was Bossfight up against Mob Squad, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just gonna try to look at that one. It was Lemon Squad actually played, yeah. So we're seeing a couple of new players come into the lineup here, whether or not that's due to new additions or feeling more comfortable on this map, or maybe just availability could be a determining factor in this one. But Mr. Death's gonna be back yet again here for Bossfight.
You guys wanna take the blue line now?
Big Red 1, they're down by 2. And luckily for them, like, they're defending, so they don't have to be the aggressor here. But now this makes it so much more difficult to hold angles, to hold all the angles you're becoming, you know, in your direction. I guess the upside is you are playing on cargo, where it's a lot easier to hold these lines since there's not that many directions you can flank from.
They are playing a 0 intel game on defense right now, which is always dangerous for Big Red 1, just considering the fact that they could get pushed and they're not going to know what the actual strategy is. And once again, they continue to lose players. There's another one. I think it was Scooby-Doo, and it could have been that player way over to the left side of the map as well. That finds another pick, bringing Red 1 down to only 2 players remaining.
Well,
now just one. Yeah. And it looks like it was our player on the left side here that was wreaking havoc. Mr. Death doing most of the damage, and I think he may have even spotted the final man that's still alive, so no reason to fear anything at this point. Bossfight can just move in one big group, and okay, they lose a few players. Doesn't really matter that much. They just have to make sure they get the trade, and they've got the round secured.
Yeah, Nightmare Luna, all alone against 5. And
they made him.
Just dead, yeah. Well, really well done by Bossfight on the attack there. Pretty much just single-handedly dismantling the entire team with perfection. Really didn't seem to struggle at any point in that one. I don't think they even took like any damage, to be honest, in that round. But that's also, again, proving why they're one of the best teams out there.
Yeah, they just took it pretty much nice and slow, waited for Big Red One to make mistakes and overpeak, and they just capitalized on that. And I think quite literally every single opportunity they were given to get like a quick little 1v1, they managed to win it. And with that, it made it a very straightforward affair in the opening round to give them the 1-0 lead. Remember, folks, for those of you that are watching that might be a little bit newer to Onward or VR esports in general, in this game, it plays out in a best of 7 with inside of the map. So first team to get to 4 will win the map.
Bossfight, when they did play against Lemon Squad, as we're talking about them, you know, just earlier on, and of course within the standings, Bossfight actually beat them 4-1 on Quarantine, beat them 4-1 in Bazaar, and then actually lost on Suburbia against Lemon Squad. So this is a team you really can't underestimate, and a team who's worthy of, you know, challenging the likes of Global Chem, who's sitting pretty at first place. I think they have like 1,300 MMR as well. But, you know, honestly, again, since Big Red won, this really won't change their standings that much if they pick up this victory. At least we think so. We don't know how exactly the MMR system does work.
Yeah.
You know, what if it gave them a ton of points and actually boosted them through because they beat the number 3 seeded team? They got nothing to really lose in this situation. So they can play like a little bit crazy if they wanted to. And when you know you don't have a lot of pressure on your shoulders and maybe not a lot of people are expecting you to win, it can always favor you in that situation, just depending on how you're feeling that day.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what like formula Bossward is using, whether it's like Elo, Glico, or something else. But from my memory,
KP.
yeah, whichever one it is. From my memory on these systems, they only usually give you like 20 to 30 points max for winning a match, and that's if your opponent is like evenly rated with you.
Right.
I fear that because of the massive rating difference between these two teams, Bossfight are not going to end up getting more than maybe like 10 to 15 points. And sadly, that won't be enough to catch up to beginners because they're sitting 30 points ahead of them.
Actually reminds me is I want to double check if this was a challenge match or if this was an assigned match from the week, because you can challenge out teams.
This was an assigned match.
This was an assigned match, okay.
Yep.
So a little unfortunate then. Because if it was a challenge match, that'd be really interesting because they're like really trying to like go big or go home, right? At this rate where we got to challenge one of the best teams to potentially make up this MMR.
We had Vikings and Spanish Bully challenge each other.
Was that a team nade?
Ooh.
It was.
I could hear some panic calls coming out there.
Rob tried to throw a nade. I think he fluffed it, and then Daniel just like walked into it trying to save his teammates by jumping on the grenade.
Unfortunate. And
Medal
we'll
of
see
Honor for that,
Bossfight responding with their own grenades. At the very least, they still had a syringe. Well, I'd hope they'd have a syringe this early on in the round. So they are going to be able to get him back up. No harm, no foul for now. But obviously, that could still come back to haunt them because now they're going to be a little out of position.
Gotta be a little bit flustered off of that too. Missing a grenade. It's not like it was a potentially hard throw either. Just lobbing over the building. But on this map, you're not allowed to throw grenades. I believe it's for the first 20 seconds. Just because it's such a small map, you could probably launch them across the field. Unless you deflate the grenade.
Mr. Death has picked up.
Nothing?
What's up?
Nothing on that one?
I didn't even hear you said.
Deflate the grenade.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not the Vikings, sorry, the Patriots. Tom Brady.
You see, once again, Bossfight coming out on top of, wow, pretty much every exchange given, although there is a little bit of a change up here for Big Red One as they finally catch another member of Bossfight crossing out into the open by the uplink here. So it's put them back into the hot seat a little bit. Big Red One losing another player, though, due to the side flank there on the right side. Puts them right back into a bad spot as Bossfight now control this at 3 versus 2, with the 2 on Big Red One still stuck way in the back of the map there.
When you think back to last round when Big Red One only had 1 player left alive to defend the uplink, there was just too many angles to cover. You were against 5. Even when it was 3 on 5, that's still really difficult to do. But the situation has changed quite a bit here. Bossfight in a similar position, yes, that they're defending with 3, but they're only up against 2. So they have that extra man advantage, what they're going to need they're going to need on the defending side. Sorry, but they can cover so many more angles here. They can stop Big Red One from just sneaking through in any of these routes. And now you can see Nightmare Luna and sticking together, trying to play the refry game potentially, but 1 grenade could just ruin their day if we do have any left for Bossfight.
Going to turn very slow right now, as it does not seem like Big Red One wants to be the one to make a move. They are hoping, I think, that Bossfight pushes out a little bit too much, as that is mainly how they've gotten these 2 other kills so far. Big Red One, this is.
Yeah, they got the time to do it. Is that a nade coming in? Oh, he's German.
Yeah.
I understood a little bit of that. I am not going to translate it, but long story short, he says,
something very mean.
Screw me.
Yeah.
And then the other one says something like, what are you doing, dude? I don't know, maybe their production can translate for me. But generally, that's kind of what they said. I just don't want to say the words exactly they used. But that's not the first time we see the fluff nade, to be honest, out of them.
No, that's I've dabbled with this game a little bit, and unfortunately, the nades sometimes just don't work the way you want them to, and I feel like we saw a couple examples of that in this round here. You gotta put quite a bit of an arm behind it to get it to go a decent distance.
I was just thinking back to extensive play time in sports back in school.
Yeah.
With your cross country running.
Yeah, but I didn't do well.
I can't remember the other one. Was it tennis?
It's, no, it was inline hockey.
Inline hockey. There we go. Inline hockey's pretty cool.
They're like with rollerblades.
Was it aggressive, like knocking each other down?
No, we were too young for that.
Oh.
We were only like 10 or 11, I think, so they wouldn't let us do that.
Meantime, though, Rob pushing up, actually gets the 1-for-1 trade, so at least he gets 1 man out of this. But that was a very...
Center warehouse, back right corner.
You can hear him whispering, center warehouse, back right corner. And Scorpio's just pretty much watching any sort of exit here out of Nightmare Luna. But luckily he has a dead teammate off to his side, so he could pick up anything he does need off of that body.
It's a good thing the call comes out, too, because he's completely obscured back there. Someone did make a push. I think they are just going to sneak their other player over towards the left side of his position now and see if they can catch him out in the open.
Yeah.
He's just trying to hide in plain sight, basically back in the dark room right now. But as you heard, they've already got the call in his position. It's only a matter of those couple bullets connecting there and need to take him out. And there it is. So with Big Red One once again going down, boss fight, take it. And they are now up 2-0.
Yep, looking good. Boss fight looking fantastic. They lose a couple of people there, getting a little bit too aggressive in the opening parts of the round. But as we did see, it didn't really matter in the end when they had that 2-on-1 situation. But again, very important that that 1-for-1 trade did happen, I guess technically now in favor of boss fight, because not only were they able to eliminate that player as he did fall down, they still maintained a man advantage most importantly, because if he just died without it, would have been a 2-on-2 situation for them. But 2 more rounds to go for boss fight. They have closed out this first map. Not sure exactly just yet what the other maps of this series will be, but we will be playing every map of the best of 3, or the 3 map series, I guess we'll call it, since it does affect MMR and determining how heavily you win, or how heavily you lose.
So to explain that part real quick again for anybody who might be a little bit new, it's basically, it's not necessarily the map score that determines the outcome of the match and how many points you gain or lose. It's the round share. So it would be so like say one team wins all 3 maps, they would have a final score of 12. And if their opponent, picks up any maps, then they are going to have 4 for however many maps they win, and obviously their opponent will still get however many rounds they picked up. So 4-3 would be the closest outcome, 4-0 obviously being the most dominant one.
So we got 2 in tunnel. We're gonna have 1 at the crates on the right, 1 at the middle.
Sorry, 2 in tunnel, 1 on the crates. Just trying to listen to what they're saying so you can see their plan of strategy here, because they have the shield coming out. So investing the points into that one. I didn't actually see if Weather Balloon had it last time. In the first run that they were attacking.
It was Weather Balloon.
He did have it then?
Because it was hard to see because he was in that tunnel for most of the round. But I'm pretty sure he had a shield there.
Okay. Well, they seem to have their strategy they want to go with. Hopefully this time for Big Red One, they don't need themselves though. And already off the bat, Big Red One have lost out on 1 player.
And it was the one that tried to get aggressive too. You could see a player on the left side there from Boss Fight prone down, who more than likely just picked him off as he tried to make a run up through the tunnels. And once again,
I hear a nade go off, I get really scared. I look at the kills at the top, how many people are left alive, and I'm expecting people to be down on Big Red One for some reason.
I think these opening ones were just a couple of smokes. At least that one was a smoke there on the left side, which would lead to the eventual downfall of a player from Big Red One. But Big Red One's not ceasing the aggression just yet. They've got a couple players, specifically this one here, that's trying to push forward and maintain an aggressive position. But you got to remember, he's out here alone. He's got no trade capability right now. So if he gets picked, there's no way the Big Red One are going to pick up a kill against Boss Fight to make up for it.
Just trying to hold that angle. By the way, one of my favorite things about this game is the fact that you can throw a smoke. Again, if you guys are new to the game, you can throw a smoke, you can walk up to it, pick it up, and throw it again while it's still blooming. Like that's like one of the coolest things ever. Like in any FPS, I've never seen that done. But it can be quite helpful as well, because it can help you bounce from one spot to another.
Or it obviously gets rid of one as well, potentially.
Yeah. If you get smoked off, you just throw it back at them. Really disrupt their plans, and makes it really hard to get aggressive. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing is like usually the defending team has the advantage in most situations, as long as they don't get too aggressive, because the time to kill is so fast. It takes like 2 bullets or just 1 to the head to pretty much eliminate someone, that you're always gonna be more rewarded playing defensively than aggressively, which is why you see these rounds last out so long, why teams are typically, more prone to playing it slow. As you see, Mr. Death here has been here for 2 minutes of time and hasn't left this position. Just looking for anyone on Big Red One to get aggressive or just kind of peek out their head.
Great bit of team comms there from Mr. Death.
What did he say?
I'm pretty sure he said, I have no idea what you just said.
All right, can we move up? 3 minutes, 50 seconds.
I still wish they could hear us for some reason. Just do a mid-game interview.
That would be cool, right? Like if we could just talk to them mid-game. It's like, how's things going there, Mr. Death?
So Daniel, how is it holding this position right next to the doorway with Scooby-Doo next to you?
Get tense now. It's unfortunately he comes under fire and he's not ready for it. Scooby-Doo picks up the 2nd kill now for Boss Fight. Pretty sure off of that, they'll be good to start moving up the field a bit more.
Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe not.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? He's dead.
So Weather Balloon's gonna have to try and avenge him. As that was the Bayer, I think, if I was reading that correctly from a distance. It's gonna be holding.
It's like an airstrike going off in here inside the cargo.
It's good that like they're doing this though, because at least Boss Fight isn't like panicking and running out in the open due to time getting lower, so they're like letting these nades get wasted. If we assume that most of these right now are coming for Big Red One.
Oh.
Mr. Death takes the fight though, picks up a 3rd kill now.
Oh, they're rushing. Wolf.
Wolf's gonna hear all this.
This is your time. You gotta get this first frag.
Fires out first, though, so he is going to be revealed, and Mr. Death will be able to re-peek and take him down. Leading to the round, going once again quite dominantly in
I don't need these
Bossfight's
anymore.
favor.
Starts throwing his guns around. I don't need these. Take him out with my hand. The knife we saw on Friday was hilarious.
Oh, where he just like, boop.
He just literally stabbed him in the butt. I'm like, I know it's painful. I don't know if it would kill someone, but it looked very painful.
Still
And
working on
it was
that
how
part.
slow he he stabbed him too. It wasn't like a jab. It was just like a poke.
I was trying to remember. I think I like misconfused this game for Pavlov for a second because I was like, throw the knife at him, throw the knife at him. But I'm pretty sure you can't do that in
What
Onward.
if you just because you know in like Counter Strikes, I know we both cast that quite a bit. You know, you have like the fake flashes where you throw out your gun or you throw out like a smoke or something like that. You just throw up your gun to make them turn around or something like that to distract them. You just come around the corner and shoot them.
Just get like a really small pistol and throw it at them.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Just wait till you're in like a dark room. Just throw anything you don't need at them. Throw your syringe at them.
You hit him with it and it just brings him back to life.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted it to.
or like in Call of Duty when you start off throwing like the hatchet across
Yeah, the
map.
hatchet, you just throw it in the air and hope you get lucky.
Good stuff.
Well, here we go, guys. The next round getting started now. The fourth round, and potentially the one that could end this opening map here between Boss Fight and the Big Red One. Big Red One, unfortunately, has come up empty on every single round so far. Barely have even been able to put kills together. Mainly, I think they got the most when Boss Fight was on defense.
Yep. Yeah,
See
I
if that
got
will
3,
repeat
I
again
believe,
here.
in that one.
Yeah, and I hate to like peg teams this way, but unfortunately, it didn't even seem like most of those kills were coming because of like Big Red One's good positioning or anything. It kind of seemed like Boss Fight just got impatient and were willing to take fights in the open, ended up losing them at the end of the day. So credit to Big Red One for like winning the fights, but at the same time, Boss Fight kind of opened those opportunities up for Big Red One. This one's going to be a little bit different though. Look at how much more aggressively we've got this other player for Big Red One. He's making a dash up the field very early on.
Yeah. I mean, they still obviously have a long distance to cover here, and most of the defending side is on that western half. Nade has gone off and actually does get an in-cap onto 1. They won't res him back up. Daniel just trying to spam away through that smoke, hoping to just catch a cheeky shot or two, and Rob is more than happy to sit behind the shield the best he can.
More covering fire so that that doesn't happen, as we unfortunately see a member of Big Red One falling behind the shield, which does not protect him. The shield player's also going to end up falling down too, so Big Red One, as Danielle uses like all of his ammo here to try to take down Weather Balloon, he's going to end up losing 2 of his teammates instead.
Kobe? Oh, the flashbang comes in. He's going to rush through. Bear! What are you doing, Bear? Bro!
And he misses the fallback as well. So now Weather Balloon's going to
Oh,
wrap
my
back out.
Lord.
He finds the last man for Big Red One. Does finally fall after he gets that kill, but it doesn't matter as the round and the map are over. It is a dominating 4-0 win for Boss Fight as they take the opening map without any response from their opponents. Hate to see that.
You know, I think it's the worst timeline for Bayer right now. That's just the worst timeline, unfortunately. Like, I think he must have been looking at his like a tablet in the meantime, like trying to see where people are, and they ran out right next to him.
I only saw him for a split second. He might have been like mid-injection. He might have been like healing himself or something like that. That's
Say
what
no
I
drugs,
think
kids.
he was doing.
It led to his death.
Don't
Say no to
don't
drugs.
stim up mid-fight, kids.
Just thinking of StarCraft now. That's unfortunate, but it does mean we do have our first map done and dusted with a clean 4-0 victory for them. We're still not sure what the second map is just yet and how long it will actually take to get to that point. So there's a chance we might have to break during that time. But in the meantime, it was just well done. Like, I agree with you perfectly what you said. We saw most of Big Red One's frags come in when they were attacking. And it wasn't necessarily them attacking well. It was the other team making mistakes and kind of just like letting their foot off the pedal.
Yeah, it was basically. I'll just repeat the same thing I said before. Where it was essentially they were peeking them. They were giving them opportunities to pick them off, and a lot of the times it took them. Credit to Big Red One. Like their aim is good. It's just from a tactics perspective, they were really outmatched in that game, and that led to the unfortunate circumstances that would become the 4-0.
I don't even know if it was necessarily even tactics at that rate. I mean, I agree it definitely was tactics, but it seemed like timings were off or something like that, because like when you're the Bayer there, you should be able to get that elimination. You shouldn't let him just be able to walk right by you and kill your teammate. And I think just in terms of just aim in general and the lines that players wanted to hold, it seemed like Boss Fight just knew the better positions to be in. Because like the eliminations they got were just, I mean, it was like sometimes they were out aiming, but at other times it's like, all right, well, they're coming straight at us, like down, basically an alley where you saw the guy with the shield walking forward, you had a guy off to the side, and a guy behind him with the shield, or behind the shield, sorry, and they just got mowed down. Like that shouldn't happen when you're at the highest level, But I think that clearly does represent the difference in skill between the two teams.
Tactically, we're like very much like ready to play that game as well. Going into each round, we could hear it when we were by their spawn. There was always like a constant plan going into it. Granted, necessarily weren't always there at their spawn. We didn't necessarily hear as much like talking in the pregame coming out from Big Red One. So I don't know how exactly they were prepared for how well they, I should say, they were prepared for this match. Yeah, also speaking of German, so a little bit hard to judge that.
And yeah, you've been in Germany a whole month now, and you still don't know German?
Yeah.
I've been here 6 years, and I still don't know German.
I was going to try to say my name is John, but
Ich hätte gern ein Big Mac Menü, bitte. See, I can order McDonald's.
What's a Big Mac? That's about all I got out of that one.
I think that's basically all you need to know. The next map's going to be Quarantine, though, so we did have like a little bit of a switch up. I thought it was first, but it's coming in second. Again, a bigger map, not as quick-paced as we just saw in Cargo. That still kind of worries me a little bit for not technically both teams, but Big Red One in particular, because they couldn't deal with the frontal aggression. They couldn't deal with holding lines against the enemy team. But now coming to a position or to a map where you can potentially flank around a team and coming from many more angles makes it that much harder.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Boss Fight's going to want to try to get a little bit more like aggressive here. If they want to try to like go for those kinds of flanks, like go for if they're on offense, that is, go for these more like aggressive, like wrap around the map flanks. We were seeing a little bit of that yesterday.
I wonder if they could technically. Let me just check beginners page real quick. Yeah, so as far as I can see, they don't have another match. And I'm bringing up beginners because they're placed second at the moment. So with only being like a 30 MMR difference, if they just absolutely walk over this team as Boss Fight, could they have overtaken beginners and taken the number 2 seed?
Yeah, that's what we're going to have to see. Like I said, it's really the difference of if they can get up to 30 points from this matchup, because there isn't necessarily like the greatest MMR difference in terms of raw numbers. So I feel like that would leave room. But it's hard to tell since we don't know the formula. So.
Well, here we go. 20 seconds into Quarantine. Boss Fight up 1-0 in the series. We'll be playing out all 3 maps either way, though. So if you guys are new to us or new to join us, you have to play out all of the maps. It doesn't matter who wins 2-0. It comes down to the map differential or the round differential.
And you guys can immediately see the difference just in terms of size when it comes to this map here. A lot more angles, a lot more things in general that you have to check when trying to move across the map. Though it remains relatively busy, the amount of coverage that it provides.
How much movement there is out of Big Red One, though. I mean, they're the defending team. Wait, really? They rushed the uplink?
Well, that's our fault. I guess we didn't even realize that. So, well done, the Boss Fight. So sneaky, even we didn't catch it there on the mini-map. But they're going to take it, and Boss Fight push forward and grab themselves the opening round with very quick speed, as they, I think, quite literally rushed the objective and got the code in that quickly.
Yeah, and they get 2 points because they got the uplink.
Oh,
so
that's true
this
as well,
map
yeah.
technically could be over if they, well, actually, because they can't get 2 points off this, but they just, wow. What?
There you go.
How do you not have one person? I mean, I guess you don't expect it, you know, within the first 30 seconds.
The thing as well is that, like, unless you see them, you're not necessarily going to know it's an enemy that quickly, because that happened less than a minute into the round. So if Big Red One had someone near it but wasn't physically looking at it, they could have just assumed those footsteps were like a teammate or something like that.
People in chat are just like, what happened? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm completely with them here. That makes no sense that he's able to do that. But hey, credit to him to be able to pull it off, you know? With high risk, high rewards happens, and it paid off really well for him.
Now they switch to defense, so they go right back and have to do the same thing from the other perspective here. I don't expect them to get so aggressive this time around.
As long as you can cover the objective, they don't want to give away 2 points.
Yeah,
they don't want
basically, let's not let that happen to us, guys.
Pretty much.
That looked really bad for them. We can't let that happen again.
Oh man, it's the worst timeline for them right now. Is really the worst timeline for Big Red One. Either way, let's see what's going to happen as we kick off our second round technically, even though the score does say 2-0 for Boss Fight. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be rushing the uplink this time, as you can definitely see a lot more defenders out of Boss Fight to protect it.
This is Roba trying to sneak himself up on the side lanes of the map here. Unfortunately, this is one of the more open parts of the map, which explains why he's crouching as he moves in there. Just going to try to keep himself behind the truck. There is someone from Boss Fight further down the lane, so he's going to have to keep his eyes on that for later on in the round.
Just remember as well, like, because of those 2 points, with only one round being played, like, now as Big Red One, you basically have to get this round and And even if you don't get this round, they technically could still win off the next round against you if they get another uplink push. So you have to 100% think about the next round, and yeah, we have to keep on the uplink this time, which makes our aggressive defense a little bit weaker, or potentially a little bit weaker, especially with how they hold some angles. But either way, boss fight, that was fantastic, and they already got the first elimination on this round. Mr. Death's gonna be sitting on top of the building here. He has 3 men off towards his right. It's really sticking close together. I really don't want to see a nade come in here and destroy all 3 players. That would 100% be the worst time I'd ever exist.
That was that player that was pushing the side lane that we were looking at before that ended up going down. A second one is now going to fall. No chance for Daniel or Wolf to get in there and get a res off quickly, as there's a very fast double tap from the member of Boss Fight that took him down. Mr. Death is still keeping eyes on this, although they haven't crossed out far enough into the open. Not only that as well, but as long as he stays behind, I guess those are AC units. As long as he stays behind those AC units there on the roof.
Been here a month and you already forgot what AC units look like. That's Germany for you.
I like that one's just like a metal box, so I was confused as to what that's supposed to be. But yeah, so as long as he stays behind those AC units there, whatever those are, then I don't think they're really going to get an easy shot onto him, like whatsoever. Although I say that, but Boss Fight have just lost 2 players. So maybe things are changing up after all. However, I think the one that was on top of the roof is still standing proud.
Mr. Death. They might have...
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, okay, he's still alive.
He's still up.
Remember what we saw, actually, one player rotate all the way around, like in the longest flank we've ever seen. Actually, sorry, no, he was defending behind the downed, it was the truck he was behind. And he was being flanked from like 2 different positions, and he was able to get like some really good eliminations in that one. Can't remember what match was off the top of my head, but either way, 3-on-1 and 3-on-0. Boss Fights can take another round here with a great little execution out of Weather Balloon.
And I'll take quick control of that one, pushing them forward even further now. Very, very close to being able to take control of the entire map once again. A few rounds away from that.
I still can't believe that first round. I honestly can't believe it.
We didn't even see it. That was the best and worst part, I suppose.
Well, I mean, that just shows like how unexpected it was. Like even our observer didn't even notice it. And I'm not giving him any hate at all. He's been doing a fantastic job today and Friday. But like that's how surprising of a play it was.
Just happened so quickly as well. Yeah. Normally, I would have thought it would have taken a good like minute and a half, 2 minutes just to get over there. But they made a dashed run. Yeah, pretty much.
Usain Bolt putting on the Oculus.
Sprinting across the map.
Was that a quote by Usain Bolt? It was like saying, like, how's he so fast? And he says like he imagines like everyone he's running against are like lions or something, and he's like just trying to run away from them to stay alive or something. I think that was him.
That's interesting. Well, I doubt we're gonna see either team rush the objective this time, given its new position there.
But you know, maybe it's like double mind games. It's like the other team's like, there's no way they're gonna go a second time, right? Bigger one's like, there's no way they're possibly gonna rush it 2 times on us. And then Boss Fight's like, all right, we're gonna do it again.
Probably take a few more minutes.
They have a lot of rounds to play with, keep in mind.
That's true, yeah. Well ahead now against Big Red One here, so. They can afford to play around with strats, and I guess this would be the best time to do it, considering that the playoffs are coming up soon and they're not gonna want to do it there. So you gotta figure out what works now before we end up in the big matches. And just a couple of days, in about 6 or 7 days, I think, is when the qualifier run starts. Although these guys won't be playing for a little bit longer than that, as they are, I think, already qualified for the semifinals.
Well, Boss Fight should be qualified for the finals.
Finals, that's right, yeah.
And being 2nd, 3rd seed, if I'm not mistaken.
So as long as they maintain that seed, then they will be going straight to the August 24th and 26th playoff dates.
Do you know if it's a double elimination?
I do not know that.
Because that would be like a really hard day to like come in as Boss Fight or as a 2nd seeded team, and just have like
I think it's just a single best of 3.
That would be tough. I want to assume there's like a double. There's like a bracket reset in there, but
according to the website, unless I'm reading it wrong, there's just a single match.
Okay. Bolognese? So someone's talking about food. I thought that's what I heard.
I don't think he said that. As much as I want to believe you're right, because I heard it too. I don't think he said that. I think he said follow.
It was German.
Someone's name. Oh yeah. That always blows my mind. Teams talking to their languages. Yeah, I know. It's
well, because yeah, you live at NA and you cast like a lot of NA stuff. Yeah. Oh, Olo.
Well, it's Boss Fight getting aggressive once again as they find him a Big Red One very early on, already picking him off and opening up the gates for them to do a little bit more of that. Scorpio's going to try to fire out into the open. He does force another member of Big Red One to fall back at least, but
Taking that building from that's so unfortunate. Oh my gosh, there's a guy potentially flanking around for the uplink again. There's no way. I don't know who it is.
I think he's going to have to get past 1 or 2 people before he gets there.
They got 3 near the uplink. He's pushing in for it though.
He could still like knock them all out and get the uplink code anyways. There we go. There's another pickup being found by Bossfight. They catch a member of Big Red One running out in the street there, and down he goes very quickly.
Can we go to the guy that's about to hit the uplink? Oh my, is he really gonna do it again?
He's there.
Don't even tell me.
They're shooting at him.
He's gonna run his way through. He killed this no one left.
He killed them all.
What? Scorpio.
I think him and this teammate over there on the left killed them all.
Scorpio, what are you doing, son? Winning games. I mean, I think I answered my own question.
Yeah.
That's...
Oh, congrats to Bossfight there.
Lord. All right, you know, I'm surprised he can run that fast with the size of balls he's got. You would imagine it'd be a lot harder, but he just runs straight into him. The thing is, like, it's so surprising to us because every match we've casted of Onward, it's been these like really slow, methodical plays, slow, methodical pushes, taking out, 5-6 minutes of time, and then we get Scorpio. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to waste time. I got some bolognese to
Look
eat.
at Bossfight overall, to be honest there. It's just like,
Jeez.
yeah, we're just going to rush every round.
And it works. It paid
Defense
off.
will chill out for at least a minute, but when we're attacking, we're just going right in. And there you go. They literally just run them over. They don't even need the uplink in that final round. They just gun them down in their own base.
Okay, I will say this though. I can't speak for Scorpio, but I imagine that if there was no one there defending the uplink and he didn't have to shoot anyone, he would have went for it.
Of course.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that.
I think that was the quickest map we've casted yet.
I think so.
I think for that reason.
We do have word on the third map. It's going to be Suburbia. That is the map that Bossfight actually did lose against Lemon Squad. Whether or not it's because they actually let their foot off the gas since they were already so far in the lead, or if they're actually just a weaker map for them, that's still to be determined. But after that, like 8-0 exchange, I don't really see any potential comeback coming in.
Yeah, it's the same. That was just very, very one-sided, unfortunately, for Big Red One. And they're going to have to hope that Suburbia is like a sleeper pick for them. Otherwise, it's very likely they were going to end up with a very dominant 3-0, and likely it'll be a 12-0.
Well, we're going to have to head a short break here because Bossfight are going to be subbing in 2 players for this match, or for this map in particular. So, guys, when we do come back, we'll be finalizing this match, and this first match of the day. We still have a second one to come up with Cannon Fodder up against Silent Purge. Wow. Purge, Rage, Angry. That's what I think of. We'll be back after the short break, guys.
One city, one stage. One trophy. One champion.
And another kill to find Fallen.
One moment. ESL 1 New York 2018.
Try box. Stairs.
Nothing great ever happened without a witness.
Oh, you guys saw that?
With the power to capture comes the need to share.
Check this.
Followed by the eyeballs and loudmouths chomping at the bit.
That was nuts.
The fate of the game rests in your hands.
Check this out. No.
Oh my God.
Leave nothing to chance. Game, record, and stream without compromise. Only on Intel Core i7.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the VR League, brought to you by Intel here, live from our ESL Cologne studios. I'm Jason Kaplan, he's Blue, and we're ready to get underway with our third and final map here of the series. Blue, is Bossfight going to win this map as well?
I think it's very likely. And that's the end of my point.
I agree. We're going to be on Suburbia. They actually did go for 2 substitutions, so maybe try to get some play time for them. Maybe just trying to win in a 12-0 fashion. Either way, they're looking damn good. They are not really dropping any maps, and they even got an uplink in the last map as well.
No, it seems like they're really just like playing with Big Red One at a certain point here, especially with the rushed play to the uplink, which is something that at least the two of us have never seen before, which led to one of the quickest maps that we have ever seen, as they did that basically twice. They unfortunately didn't actually have to do the uplink on the third round because Big Red One put 3 players on top of it, but that didn't seem to matter because Scorpio and his teammate just ran in there and sprayed him down anyway. So.
Again, truly living in the worst timeline here for Big Red One. Here we go, Suburbia kicking things off. Hopping back into this one. And let's see how this one goes now with Bossfight on the attack. Please don't tell me the uplink's gonna be rushed again. That can't happen.
It's gotta go pretty far. It's all the way out in the street this time. So.
Yep, I'm still not convinced that it won't happen. Still definitely could a second time.
Well, we'll find out about that soon enough. It looks like they're taking it slow, but look at this. It's like a sweep and clear pattern. All 5 of them are just split up almost in a straight line across the map.
Or as, you know, other people would say, a line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's why I said sweep and clear, though, because they're sweeping the map.
Well,
They're trying to clear it.
I don't actually know if Scorpio's even in anymore. I think he maybe got taken out for just being too stylish, making the map go too quick in the last round.
Might just not be a favorite on this map. That's why. I've noticed that pretty much every team has more than enough players, so I think they can swap them in and out as needed. Man, look at that precision. He's got that pre-aimed. Just 2 shots and he's down.
Well, how much those bullets cost, you know? Trying to help the economy one step at a time here.
He's saving the taxpayers' money.
Stay on the right, stay on the right.
All right, Scooby-Doo's gonna be rezzed up here in a second. Yeah, just injection straight to the
Him on
toe.
the foot with a syringe.
Yeah.
I love video games.
I think actually in it, he, is it Nightcap? No. Like in his spare time, he's actually a doctor.
Yeah.
I can't think of the term.
He's a miracle syringe.
And it could be yours for $29.99.
Brain dead? Whoop. You're good.
Are you missing a leg? Whoop. No, you're not.
It's back.
Do you have a broken heart from an ex-lover? Yeah, I can't fix that.
Yeah, that's a mental issue.
Well, either way, Big Red One going to be down 2. Bossfight have actually lost out on 1 player. Uchi try to push up here towards this right side. She might have a potential angle here for someone. As Daniel is just trying to sit inside of the house. I think that's, is that a grenade or a smoke coming through? I want to say that's got to be a grenade as I just see it blow up. It actually would have been perfect if there's a player behind the APCs to really show the mastery of those grenades. But look at the smokes lining the middle of this field.
Here's the problem, though. They haven't finished checking out this entire house yet, so Daniel could still cause some problems depending on how well he's able to spot through the smoke. But regardless, they're going to get caught as they try to push up towards it. It's a pincer as well. As like I said, that player in the house never got checked for, so he's causing problems now and has brought this down into a 2 versus 2.
I think that was Rob, though. Robbie that just got like those 2 frags, actually. Got super aggressive.
Oh, no.
Pushing for another operator. Wait, what? No, not
The smokes. They didn't realize that this, I didn't catch exactly who it was. They didn't realize that last player from Bossfight was sitting next to the uplink right by that tank and just sent the code ninja style. So there you go, Bossfight off to a good start again. They're proving themselves to be quite the boss for Big Red One, you could say.
I mean, their name's Bossfight. They're not really fighting much. They're just uploading codes at the moment.
They're like a really hard raid fight, basically.
Wait, what?
Oh, I don't know, I was trying to...
Really hard raid fight? Oh,
yeah, because they're a boss fight, yeah. It's like, what's the hardest like raid fight you can think of from World of Warcraft? Or any MMO.
Oh, that's easy. Cthulhu or Muru pre-nerf.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know if anyone understands that. I don't know if you understand that. Remember from Sun
I don't know who
Sunwell?
this. I don't know who the second one was, but
Remember Sunwell? He was like the second to last boss.
oh, I didn't play
PTR.
Burning Crusade. That's why.
He was like literally the hard. I think maybe one guild downed him before he was nerfed, and then he got nerfed again.
Oh, now I
live.
know who you're talking about.
And then Cthulhu
Yeah.
because practically no one killed him because organizing 40 people to run around a circle is really difficult apparently.
Well-
Boss fight now. What's that? What?
Boss fighter
Twin Imps also
making
was difficult.
making a Cthulhu out of themselves. It seems, as no one can kill them.
Twin Imps was also hard because people didn't know how to unbind AoE on their bar. It would always proc the bugs. I swear, half the people I raided with back in the day just were brain dead.
They just used macros because you could do that back then. I think it was like Wrath of the Lich Kings when they finally killed like macro rotations. Anyway, enough about WoW.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit off topic now. And
It's naded up here.
that's rough right there. Just
you pick
walks
back
right
up,
into
though?
that nade.
Where's
Yeah,
where's
but
that doctor, the miracle syringe?
they're so far away. That's the problem. Like, I think he's the closest one, Daniel, but he's like on the other side of a house. They don't know if there's anyone
How far
watching
back
it.
those two players are, though. I mean, if we compare the way they're attacking to boss fight, as you mentioned, boss fight just kind of sweeping across the map in a line. This time for Big Red One, they're actually really split up here, expecting an aggressive play at a boss fight.
Well, the thing is, Big Red One is playing it, I think, more normal based on what we've seen from other teams. They're playing it more so in that usually I think like one or two players get sent almost as scouters, and then there's a big group of like 2 or 3 others that ends up coming up late, and they're like the actual force that pushes into the site.
And we did talk to Radarhead yesterday after the match we cast, or not yesterday, sorry, Friday. He was talking about how most teams have that one player that likes to just get really aggressive and be the wild card while the rest of the team kind of sticks together. And it looks like maybe that was the player for them. Or maybe it was Wolf here. And a little dance in the corner. There's going to be a man inside that house. I believe right above him, if I'm not mistaken.
He is, yeah. He
two?
can't peek the steps yet, though. For that reason. As, unfortunately, the prophecy comes true. He peeks the steps, is instantly taken down by the members of Boss Fight that are holding the upstairs portion of the house. It does, however, leave this side a bit vulnerable. So I imagine this is where Big Red One's going to try to make their push against
Scorpio is here,
Scorpio.
okay.
He's the only one defending this point of entry, however. So if he goes down, it's an open season for Big Red One to push the uplink.
Yeah, but it's Scorpio.
That's very true.
He is the boss in boss fight.
He's the boss. The rest of the team's just a fight.
Just, boss ads.
He spawns them in the middle of a fight.
Oh, Luna, Daniel trying to push in, but Bayer, who actually was down earlier on from a grenade, is back alive and looking to push. Smoke's gonna come in. Scorpio, hey. It goes back in the house. All right, thanks for that one. Wait, is that? For some reason, I thought he was nading his own team there. It wouldn't be the first time he's seen it either. Oh. Daniel.
Making a move? They don't even hear him.
Looking.
Mr. Death will get the trade, though, so that keeps things under control for Boss Fight right now. Big Red One sitting with only 2 players left standing, one of which is in the house. That's going to be Luna once again trying to make a push at a 2v4 here. Where's his other teammate at? I
Don't expect another player to be there, though.
Well, I didn't expect that, that's for sure.
Ew.
Across the street.
Yeah.
Finds him in the window there.
Wait, is he?
I think he's just trying to get grips on the situation since he didn't probably get intel on his teammate going down. So he had to check for positions, and now he's just kind of holding this current spot to see if he can get any kill pickups.
I mean, at least has time. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And now Robbie. The thing is, he's got a world of work to do ahead of him. 4 frags. Almost his best bet is to somehow sneak into the uplink, but as you can see on the mini-map, there's just too many people watching his directions. You're gonna take down Mr. Death, but does give away his position. Most important, I see a lot of bullets being routed off towards him. Trying to sneak his way up the hedges. There's a player in the house, I believe. He's got a player across the street, Scorpio. Much his round to win for his team now.
Oh, it has brought it down now to this one man trying to stay alive here. I'm amazed Scorpio hasn't picked him yet, actually. Yeah, he just can't see him. That might be why. I don't think Rob is giving himself away, but that's going to change soon. And there we go. It's the man himself, Scorpio, picking up that last frag there. Oh, even a little bit of BM as he spams into the corpse pit. But regardless, the round goes to boss fight, and they shoot ahead once more. Still dominant control the lead for them, and still yet to see a single round picked up by Big Red One.
Well, now going into potentially the last round here. Let's be honest, Blue. Do you think there's a chance?
I don't know.
I didn't even finish my sentence. A chance that boss fight are going to win this?
That who?
That boss fight are going to win this?
I think there's a chance of that, yeah.
No, I wanted to make you look bad after saying no. Well, they're on the
That's why I
attack
clarified.
again. Can they pull off a 5-0 here on the last map?
Oh, we're going to have to see on that one, as they are in dominant control. Big Red One, sadly, has not been able to put up much of a fight here. We're just waiting.
Yeah, they really haven't.
It's a couple good kills. That's really been it. No remarkable plays made by Big Red One for the most part. Very much so just kind of acting upon the will of boss fight and unfortunately coming out at the losing end of that at almost every single turn. So there's not a lot of hope for Big Red One here to pick up any points in this matchup at all. It's going to look great for boss fight, though, as again we'll bring up the MMR game. If they do pull off the 12-0, which, like I said, is very, very likely, or even the 13-0, then that is going to put them in a perfect position to try and shoot ahead by a pretty decent margin. Like we were mentioning before, we don't exactly know if it's going to be enough for them to overtake beginners, because they need 30 points for that.
Sorry, I'm just looking at Twitch chat, actually, since we're streaming to multiple platforms now, not just Facebook. And Arsenic, I actually got to cast him the other day. He says he hates being the last man. That's why he starts singing until the enemy comes to him. I mean, if he's really that bad at singing, maybe his singing will actually like deafen the enemies, and then
It's true, yeah. Might need to like mute him real
Could be
quick.
like a secret
they get
weapon.
distracted. They go into the menu and they gotta try to mute him really quickly.
And that's when he pounces. That's when he
Yeah.
takes advantage of him.
That's when he stops talking and all of a sudden just goes hyper silent and then just starts one tapping everyone.
Or the other route, like he sings and they're like, oh, this guy's annoying. And then he stops singing, like, oh, maybe he finally stopped. And he just screams super loudly to deafen them.
Do you imagine someone sings and they stop and then like 5 seconds later they just run into your site?
That would be Yeah, you're gonna need that, Rob.
Yeah, you might find that useful.
At least I'm having a good time.
Are they messing with Rob? Are they just taking all his stuff? Look, they just took his gun, I think. Oh no, I think that's Luna's gun. Someone.
They took his grenade. He said 9. That's mine. That's mine.
Yeah.
And they just took it and like potentially threw the grenade out.
I pulled the pin. I heard that.
You should just take the pin, give it back to him. Like, here.
Hey, here he is.
God, I need to learn more.
That would be a hilarious way to troll in the final round, to be fair. That's a good thing the Big Red One guys are having fun, at least. Luna is going to be on the front line, however, for Big Red One. They've already made a pretty good push, making some decent gains in territory. Unfortunately, though, when it comes push to shove, they are still going to have to fight these boss fight players at the end of the day, and that is where their track record falters. And ultimately, yeah, Scooby-Doo ends up in a great position behind the hedges, where he's partially obscured and will be able to just spam down a player for Big Red One nice and early here.
I just think it'd be hilarious if like they just start singing and crossing the map together.
Like holding hands or something like that. Yeah.
They come in, like put the guns down, like they come in peace, and then they have like another player sneak in and go for the uplink.
One guy has a pistol behind his back.
Or just duct tape to his back, like Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
He's got one mag. He's got like 7 shots to win. Bit of a trade happening, at least, as I imagine boss fight are getting a little bit aggressive, we'll say, here as well, considering their situation.
Okay.
Oh, Daniel sneaking up on one, and boss fight losing players. I think these were the 2 that tried to make a push. So now they're going to be down to only 2 as well. We do have a little bit of a contest here.
Just try taking Daniel's gun more often. Start to step up here. Scorpio and Death sticking together, though, looking to close out this potentially last round for them.
It's unfortunate. I'm pretty sure they just denied an attempted ninja the uplink as well. They were very close to it. He was probably in range. Probably had the tablet out as well. Haven't seen the final player just yet, though, as he's still tucked away safely behind that middle White House.
I wonder if you actually just saw him there and actually rat off a couple of shots or just kind of like pre-firing an angle, expecting there to maybe be someone in that location. But down to the last player, Big Red One. Who's it going to be? I can't read that small of writing.
How can I?
I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. I can't tell. It's too small. Is it Rob? Oh,
It's dead guy now.
it's that guy. And boss fight, I'm going to take another 4-0.
And with that, they'll take the decisive 12-0 victory in the series.
With
as well.
2 uplinks as well during the
Correct,
round.
yeah.
But yeah, well done by them. We actually do have a special guest join us as well. It's going to be Nightfire. If you guys actually, well, you guys have to know who he is. Casted a lot of the VRML. I believe he was even at the Invitational back in June.
Hey.
Hi.
I don't hear you, John.
Okay. Well, he can't hear us, but we can.
Oh,
we
no,
can...
I do.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. What's up?
How's it going, man?
I'm watching the stream. I'm on a bit of a delay from you guys. It's like we're watching on TV.
Was that what we were doing last time? I thought he could hear us live.
Oh, he should be able to. So you can't hear us live, just to confirm, because you should be able to. I can see
your mic muted on the thing.
No, it's not. I can see it moving, so it's definitely picking up. It should be
See if I can
picking
make
us
an
up.
adjustment.
So we'll work to fix
This
that
is your
real quick.
job, Blue.
Hey, listen,
You had this.
You can look at it. You can see
I
the
have
thing
no
moves when we
audio
talk.
coming in on my end.
Yeah,
you
but
guys.
what's your mic feed though? Check your mic feed.
It's the right one.
Is it?
Yeah,
check it. 1 second. We got this.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Turn on the camera though to make sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I see the cam.
All right, we'll sign language the questions to him. Okay, so since we're on a delay, I guess we'll start things off with, well, first of all, oh, okay, well, there he is. He's not wearing anything, so maybe you should turn off that screen. Oh, he can hear us now.
No, I just think we're on a low delay.
Damn, I thought he was laughing at my joke.
Yeah.
That'd be the first time that ever happened. So let's break into that match then. Nightfire, why don't you break us down what happened, because it was a slaughter. Awkward delay.
It's like we're like live TV, basically. You know, like when like CNN goes.
Yeah, I
goes
think
to
what
a
we had
correspondent.
happen there was just a bit of like a mismatch almost. It felt like a match I felt like I was watching a Globochem match. It was a really dominating performance from Boss Fight. They were playing so well that the defensive holds on some of these maps, they just squeezed in on Big Red One. You see them kind of converging around them from the edges, and it's so interesting to see this out of these high-level teams, because as these lower teams come in and play, they're not prepared for these sorts of strategies. They're not prepared for a defensive push. You know, they're sitting so far back. You see Big Red One actually playing very almost defensive when they're on Marsoc, and that just doesn't pay off for them because they can't get it into those positions they need to get into, and they get caught out by Boss Fight time and time again.
Well, what was your thoughts on the Scorpio Ninja that we had happen? Because that was very unexpected on Quarantine.
I wanted to ask on this as well, just to kind of give people out there who might be newer to the game a little bit of a perspective of like how hard is that to pull off, basically.
That's really hard. I also think it's kind of a lack of defensive strategy. What happened there, in my opinion, is they just sent too many members north on Quarantine. And so they'd lost their hold on objective. I think they were focused too much on getting to that north roof, which is an important part to hold on this objective, because you have such good sight lines into that little courtyard area. But I think when they got up there, they just realized it was too late. They had lost their main members on defense, and it can happen, but it usually doesn't happen with a diligent team that's practiced that defensive strategy.
So I guess Big Red One is just outclass, I guess, what you're saying. But obviously there's going to be some discrepancy in skill across the tiers within the league, especially with Boss Fight being the second, third ranked across the entire league worldwide. Do you think, there's, I don't know, do you think like Big Red One has like a chance to improve? Do you think it's just a time for them to grind and practice out? Or, how do you think their future is going to look like coming into the open qualifiers?
I don't think that they've had a lot of casted matches, and I honestly think that players are learning a lot from watching their matches being cast. And so they are basically like, they get to break down their plays. They get to look at from a top-down perspective what they're doing wrong. So I think this is a really good learning opportunity for this squad. They'll be able to go back, look at this video, kind of digest how they lost, maybe where their weak points are. And yeah, they can definitely improve and come back feeling pretty good in the wild card. We'll see how they do.
I just kind of had a funny thought in my head when they get to watch casted matches and learn off of it. I was just imagining, oh, you mean like learn how to do, machine gun sounds like, yeah, like we did in the first one. But yeah, like Blue, do you have any questions before we do head off?
No, I think that's pretty much covered everything for this first match.
Well, Nightfire will be obviously catching up with you, I believe, after the last match we do have today. That will be Silent Purge up against Cannon Fodder. Guys, we do have to head to a break. When we come back, we'll be kicking off that match. It'll be 3 maps, and hopefully we'll see you guys again shortly.